Ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome you to today's podcast. I'm Subodh Mishra, Director of Communications here at Institutional Shareholder Services. We are the pulse of governance, but we're today deviating a bit to discuss the securities class action industry. I'm very pleased to be joined by Ivar Eilertsen, Managing Director and Head of ISS Securities Class Action Services. Ivar is responsible for ISS's complete end-to-end litigation research and claims filing solution that covers equities and fixed income securities across all markets. The settlement pipeline year to date stands now at $4.4 billion. Ivar, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Subodh. Thank you for having me.
Very nice to have you. And I should note for our listeners, you're relatively new to ISS. And so I'd like to give them a bit about your background and what you're focused on in terms of heading up the securities class action business. So, let me dig right in. You have a wealth of experience spanning the buy side, sell side, front and middle office, large firms, fintech. It's very impressive. And so my initial question to you, Ivar, is how you plan to apply that deep well of experience to the SCAS business, and specifically, how will that benefit clients?
First of all, the acronym SCAS, it stands for Securities Class Action Services. And we monitor and recover funds for our clients when they have suffered an economic loss in a particular stock or security as a result of fraudulent stock manipulation or other violations of federal or state securities law. Our coverage also extends into international markets. We track and file claims for clients when allegations arise in over 20 countries around the globe. That being said, I have always been interested in, and I like to focus on what makes my clients successful with their clients. And I think of our clients both as a firm itself and also as the individual that we are interacting with on a personal level. So in this case, our client's client can be their external clients, like an investor, a pension holder, or it can be their internal clients, like a fiduciary board or a management team. That focus makes us focus on what's important to them rather than what is important to us. And it helps us understand why this is important. So if we can make them successful, we will also be successful. Equally, I have an amazing team of colleagues around the world that also have their needs and ambitions. I and we as leaders, we need to focus on their well-being and each other's well-being. And especially now during these challenging times, but also during normal times. They need and deserve to be engaged. They need to be challenged and enjoy what they're doing and proud of it. That will make each of us the best possible colleague with each other and with our clients.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, Ivar. And just on the issue of securities class actions, it's a pretty obscure area for many people. What drove your interest there?
You're right, it is obscure. I've seen so many different sides of financial services during my time. And for some reason, I seem to keep coming back to this segment. And the reason is probably that it's easy to be proud of what we do here. I know that we make a difference to our clients, and we provide a small improvement in their investment performance. And that includes the pension funds that are providing retirement income to nurses, teachers, front-line employees, and others. And it includes mutual funds that sit in people's 401k plans, hedge funds, wealth management firms, law firms, etc. We solve an incredibly complex challenge for investors and asset managers. This is a challenge that many have still not addressed, which is demonstrated by a significant amount of money still being left on the table every year.
Well, so what makes it really material or important? Is it the money, Ivar? We're talking big dollar amounts?
Yes, we are. So far this year, we've seen settlements for over $4.4 billion. And that compares to $3.3 billion for all of 2019. And that trend has been steadily growing for many years. The number of cases, the settlement amounts grow every year. As of May 2020, there are over 200 filed cases. And years ago, from the early 2000s through 2015 or so, we typically would see only 200 to 250 cases for the entire year. That gives you an example of the growth. And we monitor all jurisdictions around the world for our clients, and we alert them to when there are relevant cases from which they can potentially recover funds. We then handle the complete recovery process from beginning to the end. And for us, the end is when the monies are safely returned to the investor. And this takes years to complete.
Interesting. The growth is very interesting. And so what else are you seeing in the market?
Well, talking about growth, we're seeing the growth not only in what is the quote-unquote traditional securities class action litigation, meaning IPO violations, lack of continuous disclosures, accounting fraud, misrepresentations, etc., but also in other types. For instance, antitrust cases, currency cases, bond cases. And these are complicated cases. For instance, we just completed filings for investor clients in a $360 million government entity bond settlement. That included 60,000 instruments from institutions like Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac over a 10-year period, where 16 institutions were accused of having colluded to rig the market. Like many other class and group actions, please note that in this specific case, it was settled before any final verdict was reached, and there was no admission of wrongdoing on our side. But it was still $360 million that investors needed to recover.
Yeah, that certainly is a big chunk of change for Fannie and Freddie. And so on that point of Fannie and Freddie, I mean, is this primarily a U.S. phenomenon?
Well, the vast majority of cases in settlements, they do take place in U.S. federal and state courts. That is correct. But we're seeing growth in other markets also. That includes Australia, Netherlands, Denmark, Germany, and others, and mostly recently Italy. Some of these are much more complicated with regards to the filings, but we handle it all for our clients. And we have a very strong research group that go to great lengths to research each case for all of the details.
Right. And so if you are an institutional investor looking to, get into the recoveries field, why would you choose ISS, I suppose?
Well, that's a great question. Well, I'm going to start with why I personally joined ISS, and there are a couple of reasons for that. Trust and ethics have always been important to me. I learned that from my dad many, many years ago. And I have always been fortunate. I've been fortunate to work with many great people in financial services that share those beliefs. But we all know that there are some people that, in lack of a better expression, cut corners. I wanted to be associated with a firm for which ethics is front and center, and ISS is such a firm. ISS services thousands of asset managers already with other valuable governance and ESG services. These clients already trust us with their data. They know that we have their best interest at heart. We are here for the long haul. ISS is also investing significant amount of money in our platforms for the benefit of our clients. Like our sophisticated backend is so efficient that we can free up people to provide very personalized service to our clients. We recovered more than $1 billion for our clients, and we filed more than 2.4 million claims during 18 and 19. That could only happen with dedicated and passionate people and with a sophisticated platform. We also just launched a brand new client portal that provided our clients with our in-depth research, with insight and with transparency into that complicated process of their securities class actions recovery. And during this corona pandemic, I've also seen another side. This is a time, obviously, that we all never want to experience again. But I was very proud to experience how we invoked our business continuity plan in a way that could only happen in a firm like ISS, with more than 2,000 people around the world. we did not miss a single filing for our clients. Our front end, our back end systems, they all kept running. Our staff were fully operational very quickly, working productively while remotely. I'm so incredibly proud of my colleagues about their dedication and their flexibility. And I'm looking forward to seeing them again in person, to be honest with you, hopefully soon. Video conferencing is working well, but as you know, it will never replace meeting people in person.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Certainly looking forward to seeing colleagues in the office again soon. And yeah, all very good points in terms of the selection of ISS for this securities class action service. Ivar Eilertsen, thank you so much for joining today's podcast.
Subodh, it was very nice to be here with you.
And likewise, I hope we'll get to hear from you again. And to our listeners, thanks for joining, and please do tune in next time for the latest Pulse of Governance. Goodbye.